Good afternoon, everyone. Ernie Perez, both IS&T and Met Campus, and Jana Mulkern, Director of EdTech.
Quick questions. Two questions. Going to get you to move your hands here. Who is, are you or your faculty afraid of hallucinations as your students are getting them? Raise their hands. Are you or your faculty afraid of your intellectual property training LLMs out there? Okay, great. We'll talk about how this is going to help you in the future, but what is Noodle Factory? It is a teaching assistant / tutor available around the clock for your students to ask questions when they don't need to bother you in the middle of the night. It can do Q&A, role-playing, quiz prep, flashcard prep, things like that. Why Noodle Factory? This little guy is your avatar, looks like his face looks like a bowl of ramen. And the reason they have that name is because it's about as easy as cooking a bowl of ramen to set up this. And they actually have a video on LinkedIn that shows you they can do that. It's pretty funny. You don't have to use Walter. You can customize it. We're going to show you that in this little video. You can customize the avatar by name and who they are. So let me just get to the video. So basically, it's just going to be a demo of a student asking a question. All right, so he's going to Google this question and then realize he can go to his chatbot. It's going to show you how he can go right into Blackboard. There's an integration, an LTI integration in Blackboard, and the students can just go to their course. Once they get into their course, they can find the tool and then start engaging with the tool. This particular question is like a med kind of a version where the student is asking about they're not understanding skin layers of the skin, and so it's going to ask that question, and in 2 seconds, it's going to come up, talk about the epidermis and all different types of things. The student's going to want to know where they got that information. The chatbot's going to show them the resources that are instructor curated. The instructor told it which resources to find it. So they're going a little bit deeper to see how it's applicable to a patient scenario, a patient with dermatitis. So it's going to go a little bit deeper. And then maybe you have students that don't have English as their first language, and they want to interact with the tool in their native tongue. Even with all English sources, it can ask a question in its own language, and it will answer it immediately. 126 languages I think they have so far. So it's pretty dynamic just for that. We're going to stop that video. 3 quick pilot cases. On the medical campus, we started piloting this in the fall. We've just recently extended it to the CRC. So two cases on the med campus. John Waldo, who's in our graduate medical sciences behavioral health program, he's using it not just as the Q&A like we showed, but also adding the AI literacy into his class. So instead of like a separate workshop or a separate class, he's using the tool in behavioral health and then talking about ethics and having his students compare this protected use of Walter, the chatbot in his class, and say something like ChatGPT, and talking about how that might fit with patient counseling and things like that. Really dynamic. The students seem to love it. He's saying, let's embrace this. I have some quotes on a website of ours, but essentially in a paraphrase, let's embrace this and show students how to use it. They're going to need to use this in their fields as they go. And so incorporating that AI literacy right into your class is great. Afshin Lakhani from the dental school, she is also using it in a little bit of a different way. She has a course set up for her clinical faculty, for students that are transitioning to the clinic, and she has all of her resources there so that people can just quickly ask those questions that are clinical based. What happens if a patient bites me and it cuts through my skin? It can ask the tool really quickly and get to all the policy information. Karen Jacobs is our first CRC at Sargent, and her story is that she sat with an ed tech on one day, set up the tool, incorporated it into her class the next. 31 out of 42 students interacted with the tool and asked for, what is entrepreneurship?
Okay, so why did we choose this tool? So we worked with Gardner to find a tool, and they suggested this. University of London had already deployed it and had won some awards. The company's been around for a long time, well before ChatGPT 3.0 came out. It's safe. It's within our LMS. It does use OpenAI. But it's not training that. It minimizes hallucinations because you only use your particular sources that you've given it. It doesn't go out to the internet if you don't allow it. And this vendor is very responsive, even though they're based out of Singapore. They have been there with us the whole way. Thank you.